We've now seen a full reveal of Reventuli Coast, and that to me serves as a reminder that before too long, we're gonna have a whole lot more to do in Call of the Wild, and because of that, I wanted to get back out here on Yukon Valley today and continue with the Grizzly grind, looking for an albino male, and right off the bat, we have, I think, 5 male grizzly bears just inside here from this outpost, and I really think that kind of shows that what we've been doing, shooting some of the females in these areas and obviously shooting the males and getting those respawns, has actually started to make an impact. So I think the 7 won't hear this. If we can maybe, actually, the 2 back there might not hear, so let's shoot this guy. We're going to hope the ones behind didn't hear it, and they did not. So we know that's a 6. I'm gonna try to squeeze a shot in there. I don't know, I tried to kind of get that as if he was going to stand up. I'm not sure if he's hit. 6 is going down. And then the level 7 also is still standing over there. So we'll try to drop a shot into his lungs. And also, this has worked out incredibly well in terms of spacing. The level 6 on this side is still standing there. So outside of the level 4 that I'm not sure if we got a good shot on or not, we got at least, what, 4 of them? Maybe all 5? We'll see if the level 4 goes down by the time we get over there. I mean, it is incredible the difference. They might not be that big. There's a level 3 there, a 4 there, and we have a 5 there. Really not ideal in terms of size, but when we kind of started doing this, and it wasn't that long ago, we were getting a whole ton of females down in this area, and that was basically it. So just to see a good number of males, that is really encouraging. So I guess Sir 12 is in front of us and not wanting to walk out of the way. I wanted to quickly get the 5 before he fled, and then I was going to try to get another shot at the level 4 because that one was not ideal. I'm not even sure we hit him. I'm still not sure that we've hit him. That may require some tracking. He may have just avoided all those shots. I mean, it is just unending down here. There's a 6 over there too. Luckily, any of those shots that we took at the level 4 when he was running that way didn't spook him. I mean, we've got more male grizzlies already in, what, 3 minutes than I've had over the course of, you know, an hour sometimes. It really makes a difference to kind of shoot some of those females and leave room in, like, what I would call the good areas for males to spawn. I know there's a way to get across here, I just kind of forget where it is. By the way, that level 4 somehow avoided every shot that we took, which at least that does leave him back here nervous, and it allows us to get a next shot in there and drop him. So as we're heading over here to claim and running very slow through the water to get to the shallower part, if you're sitting here and you're wondering what I mean by shooting the females and why that's helped anything at all with the males, and also what I mean by the good areas, basically, from what I can tell, there's like a maximum number of any particular species that can spawn in a certain area. And I kind of figured that out with Red Fox up here in the swampy area. So if you've got, say the max is 20, that's a completely made up number, but if you've got 20 female bears all drinking in one area, you're never going to get males to spawn there by shooting males elsewhere, because basically the capacity for that area is filled. But if you're shooting some male bears on your grind, and you shoot some females in those areas that are fairly easy to hump but just happen to have nothing but females, you're kind of opening up spots for some of those males to spawn there. And by doing that here, I mean, how many, I don't even know, I've lost track of how many male bears we've gotten to spawn in this area. And what I mean by good areas is, you know, when there's an outpost nearby or where it's wide open and you don't have to worry about trying to shoot through trees or spot through trees to try to get eyes on them. Those are areas where if you've got nothing but female bears or nothing but female anything on any grind that you're doing, those are spots where you probably want to shoot some of those females and try to open up spots for the males to spawn. But if it's in some obscure area that's hard to get to and it's difficult to even see them, I would actually leave those there. If that's full capacity and you're not getting males to spawn there, then you basically don't have to check it. So I hope that explanation made sense, and if you're curious about anything that I was kind of describing there, feel free to ask in the comments below. I'm sure If I don't get to answer it, there are plenty of people in the comments that may have an explanation as well. But before we could even go and claim some of our bears, we had another level 5 out there. The one thing, I don't think the level 4 that we shot did go down, although the zone is gone. So I'm not sure, because we've shot so many bears now, I think that's number 9. There is a chance that the hunting pressure has kind of dissipated to where it doesn't look like we shot 4 anymore, although I think that would still stay pretty bright. There's some blood there that's probably from the other 4. That's a 6. So there's a 7 here somewhere. And this one, which I think is the 4, and maybe it hasn't gone down, but let's go get the 7. Our first max weight estimate bear of the hunt, a 63.9. Not half bad. Then we have that 5 laying over here, and we'll attempt to track down the other one that we hit. Although, I would kind of look at that probably more so as a waste of time than anything. If we did get him, I do want to go and claim him. But I really am encouraged thus far. That was a spinal cord shot that dropped him, but so often on streams, I've talked about how difficult it can be to grind for grizzly bears. Because so often you see basically nothing but females, but through this kind of tactic and approach that we've taken of shooting some of those females in the good areas, it's starting to allow us to get a lot of males in those spots instead. Actually, not a bad deal. He was nearly down. I don't know if it would have gotten him. He was 0 to 25 on the health, but I mean, we're only, what, 130 meters off the shore? I assume he was up here drinking nervous or maybe just on his way back. But really, that didn't take us that far out of the way, and obviously no respawn happens if he wouldn't have gone down, so I'd say worth the time. Yeah, had we just shot normally, we'd have been good, although it does look like he was about to stand on his hind legs. So maybe kind of jumped the gun trying to prepare for that, but all in all, we still ended up getting him down. So another gold and grizzly bear number 10 on this hunt already, with the one from across the river. We've had entire grizzly bear hunts where we haven't killed that many, and that's 10 at the first area. Well, this is an unfortunately familiar sight. Last Friday, on stream, we had this level 3 Harlequin duck, and unfortunately the exact kind of situation happened. And they do this weird thing when they're flying, this kind of bobbing up and down. We just hit him there, so a little bit of kind of redemption after missing out on him on stream. But first of all, they flew straight up in the air as we just saw them doing, kind of leveled out, and they were doing that kind of bobbing up and down motion that was making it to where I just could not hit it at the end of the stream. And we were actually here for a moose hunt, so had no idea the grizzly respawns were going so well, but nice to get that duck just because of the way it went last time. Good score estimate of 7. Fair chance I would say he's going to make diamond. Harlequin ducks rarely troll. By the way, we also have a couple of female bears over there, and to go back to what I talked about earlier, this is probably what I would call a not great location. They're kind of in the brush, they're around this bend where you could easily end up spooking them, and I just don't think it would be worth trying to take them and, you know, hope for males to take their place. In the meantime, 7.2 is the minimum for diamond, although at 0.73 kg, I'd guess he's 7.25 or better. So we'll take a diamond harlequin on our way up through here. It's almost the end of grizzly drink time, so kind of getting ready to reset shortly. I wanted to come back and try to find that duck, and I'm glad we did. This is probably the only circumstance on Yukon Valley when I prefer it doesn't snow, because generally I quite enjoy the weather changes you can get on this map, but it may make it a bit easier for an albino grizzly to actually hide. In the meantime, I think we maybe shot too high on that level 4. It's going to be a vertebrae hit at the very least and take it down, but as it's kind of starting to get light out again, good to see another decent sized bear. And actually, we've seen mostly low levels, but a couple of decent ones, and actually with this guy, even another gold level 6, right on gold at 60.8. And with a little bit of tracking, that was in fact a vertebrae hit on our level 4, but that's another one to hopefully be a respawn for us. It's always interesting to find kind of like new areas where bears weren't spawning before, and it's kind of just what happens through grinding for really any species. Eventually, you end up with stuff that, due to respawns and the way that they work, they'll either create a new zone or go to a zone that's maybe been vacated for quite some time. And once again, much like where we started, that zone, despite the fact that it's a far shot, is right outside this outpost. Like, it's very, very accessible, and I hope it continues to be one that we can get the bears from. We did kind of luck out with that second max weight estimate bear of the hunt. He turned, and I was kind of banking on something like that happening, and he allowed us to get a long shot in there, so should have 2 opportunities to the gold and 1 guaranteed. We kind of saw this, I think it was the last time that we streamed Yukon, if I'm not mistaken, or the last time we streamed Yukon while hunting for Grizzlies. Right at the end of the hunt, we had, I forget if it was 2 8s and a 7 or 2 7s and an 8, but all these max weight estimate bears, and we're kind of starting to see that again. It's been 3 7s today, but that is a good sign, I think, seeing that many with the max weight estimate. Now, I don't know which is which. This was the max weight estimate 7 that we shot as he turned. Worked out well because I don't know that we could have gotten along in the way he was standing initially. 63.9 for that guy, and I would think the 6 that we shot, there he is. Couldn't have possibly gone that far. That was the one that we actually shot with no rush whatsoever. Potentially a gold then because he is a 6, and he is a gold at 61.5. You know, that is another encouraging aspect to this, and I've talked about it on many grizzly bear hunts. A lot of times we get like 2 golds in a hunt. We've had a bunch today, and you know, should an albino show up, there's still a pretty good chance it's not even going to be a gold. But seeing a lot of golds today, I'm a little more optimistic that maybe we can do it. So then finally, max weight estimate bear number 3, and our biggest thus far today, 64.4. I like the looks of that. We just need to find one that's albino and be all set. That would be kind of the ideal, for it to be like a 7 or better, so there's no kind of worry that maybe it'll end up being a silver like our level 6 albino. And, you know, we're seeing a bunch of them, so maybe. Now that is interesting. So this is an area where grizzly bear used to be all over the place, and at some point it kind of changed to where it wasn't so loaded with bears. Try to get these shots off. The 6 there, the recoil really got me good on that one. I don't know if we can get the 5. They usually kind of run where you can see them, but that angle is less than ideal. That'll be a hit anyway that may take him down, but it's kind of back here at the very end of this kind of river, and you used to get bears kind of all stacked in here, and for a while, it seemed to have gotten to a point where there were either no bears or maybe female bears, so to get a couple of males there is good. Definitely going to be a spot to come back and check in the future. The good news is it was enough to bring down the other male bear. Unfortunately, that not a gold level 6. But the bad news is that is going to be our last kill of the hunt, and between the bears that made the video and the bears that did not, there were a couple in there that I did not include. We shot 19 male grizzlies in basically an hour. That's honestly probably as well as we've ever done, and you know, half of them were right at the beginning, I will admit that, but regardless, if we can get that many consistently, I think we're going to be in a pretty good spot to potentially get this grind actually accomplished. At the very beginning of it, I felt like if anything was kind of like a shot in the dark, come out to Yukon a couple of times and maybe see if we could stumble into one or luck into one. At this point, I feel like we kind of have a legit grind going, and especially because we did not shoot any female grizzlies today, and I started to make a point of that right after we basically had all 10 of those. I would like to think we're only going to get males respawning in that area again, and hopefully we kind of get similar results with a bunch of male grizzlies right there by the outpost. And with the help of Sir 12, we've got our final grizzly bear found here. We'll praise him for the assistance in tracking. And grizzly bear number 19 is a bronze 58 scoring level 5, which I'm just glad we got the shot off after the difficulties of getting back on target due to the recoil. And I don't think we're going to go back to the Trophy Lodge for a Diamond Harlequin. I'm glad we got that just because it got away on stream, but it's not really big enough to replace any of the other Harlequins that we have in the Lodge. But I'm pretty optimistic about this grind. We'll definitely be coming back here, maybe on stream on Friday, to continue kind of where we left off, and hopefully we can get that albino gold before the new map. We've completed a lot of grinds in the days leading up to it, and I think we've got a while yet, so hopefully we can do it. But anyway, that is going to do it for this video, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.